Ai Weiwei, you are yourself, in a way, a refugee, not perhaps in the same extreme circumstances as the people that you've made the film about, but you are a refugee, and your family has always, in a sense, been moved unwillingly to other places.
Yes, since I was born, my father was exiled. The exile is 20 years, forbidden to write anything. He was a poet. So he has to do hard labor in very remote area, forest location from the capital.
Do you think this is in part why you are yourself so moved by the refugee crisis?
Certainly it played a very strong part for me to understand or want to know more about the refugees.
So in a sense, this film is a journey of exploration of what is happening to this extraordinarily large number of people.
It is a journey, personal journey, for me to look at myself, my back, and also to look at all those 65 million people. They are being forced to leave their home and to go to unknown areas, just try to escape.
It is extraordinary because that is a population the size of Britain, 65 million people. And the journey that you make is not just one particular refugee route, it is practically all of them.
Yeah, I want to know different circumstances. Refugees from 60 years ago, 3 generations, and the refugees just come yesterday and still coming today and tomorrow. So I want to know different circumstances. Some are forced out by war, sometimes they're forced out by famine, by environmental change, all kinds of conditions. Refugees' definition certainly changed a lot.
What's interesting is that you are very much inside the film as well as directing it. We see you. I mean, we see you having a haircut in one refugee camp. You become part of this extraordinary movement of human beings.
I want to include myself as part of them, or to think they are part of me. So only by doing that, I can really sense the humanity in every of them.
Do you think that the world has dehumanized refugees and now sort of regards them as, in some way, apart from the human race?
I think by using refugees, the words, is already separate them from the normal human conditions. We always see them as part of the problem, or a potential problem, or even in some extreme cases, we call them, could be a danger to our life. So this is very much dehumanized condition. And they will live their life with that kind of condition.
Actually, making this film is a massive undertaking. I mean, there was a huge number of people involved in making the film. You made most of the journey. How did you manage to do it?
Well, once you get emotionally involved, you have your curiosity, you want to learn, you want to understand the world better. So the effort you always have to make anything happen like this scale, to really to cope with the situation. Still, what we made is still, I think, is very superficial in terms dealing with this very complicated issue.
What have you learnt above all else in doing this? Because it's a massive thing to have done.
I think what is most important is to recognize the humanity in those people who is unfortunate. You can easily have a conclusion they're just part of us. Also, we're part of them. And to have that recognition, to see humanity as one, to see human rights, is we have to protect and share the values of those very basic fundamental values. And the most important is to protect the children. Those children, millions of them, maybe 1/3 or half of the refugees are youngsters, and we have to protect their future and to make them educated, to make them understanding, and have a more profound, to be proud as a human being, and to understand the world, can understand them.
When you were moving about these very different groups of refugees, did you find it easy to become part of them in the time that you were with them? I mean, how accessible were they, or were they actually rather separating themselves from you?
Surprisingly, they are extremely easy to approach if you are sincere. They, two human face to face, they can easily tell your sincerity and you really care. And maybe my early experience put me in the very easy condition when I see them. I want to touch them. I want to eat with them or to make humor or joke with them. So I think you have to see them as a normal human being, just like anybody else, rather to think you have to give mercy to them. What they want is to have this kind of understanding rather than anything else.
But in a way, you're asking the viewer, the one person who is experiencing watching this film, to identify with the refugee, to understand their condition, and you're asking the state, the organization of societies, to understand the refugee as an individual and identify with them.
Yeah, I think as audience or people who's going to see the film should have the feeling of those people are just human beings like us. They just been forced into this unfortunate situation. They all been forced out. Nobody wants to leave their home. They have their own language or religion, and they can stay peacefully, even could be poor, but still, that's their home. But now they're in very undesirable situation. So the policymakers or state, the people who could have impact on those people should really understand this is not a situation we can just avoid, not look at it, or we can just push it away. This situation reflects to our understanding of our future and our vision about as a nation or as a human being. So this is something we have to understand.
The difficulty, as you know, you live in Germany, for example, where there are movements that are very hostile to refugees. There are movements in this country who are very hostile to refugees. And I'm wondering whether you feel this film can change their minds, or will they never see it? And therefore, the people who will see it will be the people who kind of already know and maybe are already giving money and trying to help.
Yeah, that's always difficult to get a message across. But I'm sure more people watch the film, the more understanding the film will extend to the people and to the people who make decisions. And I think in the civil society, everybody need to act to give a little help and to raise their own voice to helping those people who is unfortunate, desperately need help.
You're obviously a very high-profile artist. You're very well known. And I'm wondering whether any of the states in which you found the refugees ever contacted you. Did you ever meet anybody in authority who said, hang on, what are you doing here? Should you be here? Should you be making this film? Or were they helpful and supportive? How did you find authority?
It's very various. Some authorities are quite open up, willing to talk about the issues. Some just impossible to even to have a response to any of the issues.
Well, you mentioned Hungary, for example.
Oh yeah, many locations it's not possible. And but you do your job. As an artist, I do my job. I want to maximize my possibility to extend those understanding, and it benefits me and my understanding about the world today.
So it's both art and activism working together and hoping that in some way it produces change.
Yes, it always working together, and hope this will always do like that.
Ai Wei Wei, thank you very much indeed for talking to us.
It's so nice talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you.